Welcome to this very special episode with a very special player. Alana King is here. Welcome to the show, Alana.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you? How's England?
I'm great. Ireland's actually quite good. First time being here, so it's really nice to be here, and hopefully the weather stays a bit warm for us in our final game.
Talking about UK and the conditions there, this is your first time there. Is there something differently that you're planning to do?
Not necessarily. I'm just loving to be in a different place, playing some cricket, and just trying to adapt to the conditions, I guess. It's been a bit cold and wet recently here, so it's just adapting to the conditions as best I can.
Speaking about the Commonwealth Games, it's obviously something that we all are looking forward to. And you're part of Team Australia. What are the sports other than cricket that you would be cheering for and you would be watching?
Oh, definitely growing up and watching the Commonwealth Games on the TV. I think you can't go past our swimming team. I think they've been incredible, and they showed that in the recent Olympics. So hopefully they can continue that form into the Commonwealth Games, and we'll be cheering hard for them.
Speaking of your own team, who is that one player that we should all watch out for?
Oh, I think we're pretty blessed, to be honest, to have such great players in our team, and I think we're all just excited to be part of a pretty historic moment for women's cricket, and being the first time it is in the Commonwealth Games. So look, it's going to be another great tournament, and we've got some great players who are ready to go, and I know myself I'm very excited to be a part of it. So yeah, I think just keep your eyes peeled. I think there will be plenty of action happening.
Speaking of the Commonwealth Games and the addition of women's cricket into it, what do you think it will do to the development of the game across the globe? In Australia, it's pretty huge already, but across the globe, what do you think the impact would be?
I think it just creates more exposure for the women's game, I guess, and putting it on a bigger stage. And I know many countries around the world, whether they're Commonwealth countries or not, they will be watching and seeing that cricket's in there. And hopefully that it keeps growing, and maybe one day we can dream big, and hopefully it could be in the Olympics, and that will really grow the game, and hopefully more countries can jump on board and wanting to aspire to be playing in the Commonwealth Games or the Olympics.
That's something that is on the cards in the near future. We are hoping that it happens. Speaking of Commonwealth Games again, I'll put you on the spot on this one. I want you to tell me, who do you think is going to win the gold, silver, and bronze? Obviously, I know Australia are quite the favorites for the gold one, but come on, I want the rest of the teams from your end.
Well, hopefully, I'm being very hopeful that Australia are putting the gold medal around their necks. But look, I think it's going to be quite even. There's 8 great teams, and they've all been playing some really good cricket across, the last 12, 18 months. So, and everyone's been having some warm-up games in the lead up to the Commonwealth Games. But I'm not too worried about who gets the silver and bronze, to be honest. I'm hoping that we get the gold.
You are pretty diplomatic. That's something that I knew, but I'm just sensing that much. However, let's talk about the last 12 months that has been, like, it's been such a experience for you. It's been quite big for you. Like, you won the WBBL, you went on to win the World Cup, you made your debut at the international stage in all the formats. Just sum it up for me. How does it feel looking back over the last 12 months?
Yeah, it's been pretty spectacular, to be honest. And I don't think anyone, including myself, would have dreamt that this has happened and I'd be in this stage 12 months ago. I was just, as I said, and I've always said, that I was really excited to be joining the Perth Scorchers last WBBL, and the prime focus was trying to win the first title for that franchise, and I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad I could contribute in that team and get us over the line as much as every other player in that team did. But to get the call up into the Ashes squad and to make all 3 debuts, that was pretty special, especially with my family being there for all of my debuts, to be honest. It's just been a great roller coaster to be honest. And heading over to the World Cup and winning the World Cup, it happened really quickly. So there was some time after the World Cup that I got to spend some time with the family back in Melbourne, and then things got into gear again and went to the IPL and had a lot of fun there, and won it with the Supernovas, which was an incredible experience. Hoping it was a bit longer and a few more games, but I'm hearing that next year is going to be a pretty big year for the women's IPL, and yeah, there's been some crazy times in the last 12 months, I guess, but yeah, I've loved every minute of it, and I'm pretty fortunate to be in this position that I am today.
I think you have the Midas touch. You won the WBBL, you won the World Cup. Then you went on to win the Women's T20 Challenge as well in India. So, if there's franchise cricket going on, they would want you around. Moving on from the World Cup, obviously it was a big moment for you and the Australian team. You went to the Women's T20 Challenge. You came here to India. How was the experience of playing in Indian conditions, firstly? And how was the experience or overall playing in this tournament?
Yeah, I loved every bit of being part of the T20 Challenge, and shame it was such a short tournament, but I loved every opportunity and just getting to know the Indian players a lot more, and playing with obviously Harman and a few of the other Indian players. It was a great experience. We had a really great support staff as well. I know the coach was very into it, and she was obviously riding the highs and lows from. She even said, she's like, I'm getting the domestic players that are coming through. I think it's pretty scary to see the talent that India have, especially with their domestic players. And yeah, I just think a proper women's IPL will put all these domestic players on the global stage, I guess, and let the world see what the talent is like over in India. And I think it'll do a world of good for not only women's cricket in India, but for the global game as well. And yeah, I know there's plenty of players around the world who are hoping that it all goes ahead next year, and we can get another T20 tournament in another country.
Speaking of the women's IPL, if you were, and you will obviously get a gig once it starts, which would be that one team that you would want to represent?
Oh, it has to be Chennai, surely. Obviously, mum and dad born and bred in Chennai, so I love going back to Chennai whenever I've been able to and had the opportunity to. So we've got still some close family friends and some family over there. So definitely I'll be putting on the yellow if I can.
Speaking of the relationship with Chennai and India, how would you sum it up? Obviously, there's a family connect with this country and the city. How would you describe that as a person? How would you describe that for yourself?
Chennai is a bit chaotic, I can tell you that, and it's very hot. So, and that's what I love. Like, I love a bit of chaos, and I love hot weather. So it suits me and is me in a nutshell pretty well. So I'll be excited to get back to Chennai and hopefully play a few games at Chepauk Stadium.
Do you like the food that comes in India? Is that something that you care for?
Yeah, of course. I love the food, and Dad was a chef back in India, so I'm very blessed to have some of the best South Indian food going around. So love all the sweets and the dishes that come from Chennai, and I know if I go back and family are there, they'll always put on a good feast for me.
Speaking of your career again, Shane Warne, you did give a tribute to Shane Warne in the opening game against England in the Ashes. It was one of the most heart-touching moments for me as a fan. How did he impact your career as a young leg spinner growing up in Australia? How did he impact your career?
Well, he was the reason why I picked up the art of leg spin, and yeah, didn't really know what I was getting myself into because he just made it look so easy and so effortless, but realized pretty quickly that it's a pretty hard task to master. But yeah, I think not just me, but many kids around the world, he's inspired to pick up leg spin because he made it look fun. He made cricket fun again, and he brought that energy that people were wanting. So yeah, big inspiration to me, and it was a really sad day when we got the news that he passed, because only 24 hours prior, Rod Marsh passed as well. So it was a pretty tough tough few days, I guess, for Australian cricket. And yeah, hopefully we put some smiles on faces back home.